Hey, what's up, Aaron here? Hope you're doing well. If you're watching this video right now, you might be checking out Amazon FBA as a business model, and maybe you're wondering, is it legit? Is it worth it? Right? Should you be starting an Amazon FBA business, or is it a massive waste of time? We're going to check it all out, all right? Now, on this channel, I've reviewed hundreds of different ways to make money online, all sorts of business models, all sorts of products, websites, apps, and some of them are good, some of them are so-so, a lot of them, though, big waste of time. So let's check out Amazon FBA to find out whether this is the business you should start this year, or maybe there are other things that you should do to make a lot of money online, all right? Now, Amazon FBA has been around for a long time. I don't think you need an introduction on Amazon itself, but essentially what Amazon FBA is you are basically allowed to source your own products, all right? You can then send that inventory, you box it, you brand it, all that great stuff. You send it to the Amazon fulfillment center, right? Amazon will sort and they will store it in their warehouses. And then what happens is people will, go to Amazon as per usual. They'll find your listings on Amazon, they'll buy it. And then Amazon does all the fulfillment and the shipping and handling. And that's why it's called Amazon FBA. All right. So essentially you're using Amazon as a platform, as a shipping and handling and distribution center, but you're in charge of sourcing all the products, branding it, and then putting it on Amazon, and obviously doing the marketing for people to find the stuff. Okay. Now there are different ways that you can, sell Amazon products. It's not just one way. Okay. So I'm just going to cover a few of the most popular ways. One of the most popular ways is doing something called private label. Now, private label means you go out and you source products wherever you source it. It could be locally in your own market. It could be from China. It could be from India, Pakistan, whatever. The name of the game really is to find cheaper products. And then what you do is you white label them. You brand them yourselves. You build a brand around it. And then you create a store on Amazon. You send it to the Amazon fulfillment center. And then when people buy it, you make the difference between how much you purchase the products for and how much people actually buy the products, okay? Those are the margins, all right? So that's private labeling, you're branding your own products. Another way is to do it wholesale. So wholesale means that you're buying products from a supplier and it's from a specific brand, and you would also sell it under the same brand name. So for example, for lack of a better example, let's just say you were to sell IKEA products. You would buy IKEA products in bulk for much cheaper from IKEA, and then you would sell it on Amazon under the same brand name as IKEA for a little bit of a markup. Okay, so that's what wholesale means, all right? Retail arbitrage is basically when you buy something that's a little bit cheaper from, let's just say, AliExpress, and then you sell the exact same thing on Amazon for a slightly inflated price, and you make the difference between how much you bought it for and how much you sold it for, okay? Now, these are the three. I'm not going to cover the rest, but these are the three main ones, and we'll talk about which one you really should be focusing on this year. But these are the most popular different Amazon styles, okay? Now, the way that we know whether Amazon FBA is going to be worth it this year, especially if you're a beginner, you've been looking around, maybe you've been comparing a lot of different business models like affiliate marketing and YouTube automation, digital agency. Amazon is right up there, right? It's everybody's talking about it. Amazon's a huge company. So let's talk a little bit about the fees and what it takes to actually run the business so that you really understand whether this is a good business to start, okay? Now, this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but Amazon FBA as a business has a ton of fees, all right? So I'm gonna run through them one by one so that you understand. The first thing that you have to understand is that you have to spend money on buying and acquiring your product, okay? Especially if you're gonna go down the private label route, the wholesale route, or even the retail arbitrage, because you have to purchase the product and store it in Amazon's warehouses in order for them to have stock to sell to people when they click on your listings on the Amazon website, okay? So acquiring the products are not cheap. You have to upfront the product. That means, let's just say you were to do private label, you've got to buy a few hundred units in order to send it to Amazon. So think about it, right? If you had to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 units of that product, which, by the way, you don't even know if it's going to sell well or not, because it's a test, right? You're testing it out to see whether it'll sell well. You have to pay product fees. So let's just assume you have to spend between $1,000 to $5,000 just on your product acquisition alone. Okay, you got to box it, you have to brand it, all of that costs money. Okay, on top of that, the second cost is Amazon FBA fees, right? Amazon isn't going to do this for free. If you want to use Amazon in order to distribute your product and list it on their store, they charge you a fee. It's 15% on the retail price of your product. So let's just say you charge someone, $50 to buy your product, right? $50 times 15%. Amazon's going to keep $7.50. It's quite high. Okay, now if that was just it, that would be okay, but there are a lot of other fees. Now Amazon is charging something called placement fees. All right, so if your product is the regular size, they will charge you per item 21 cents to 68 cents per item that you store in their warehouse. And if it's an oversized item, they will charge between $2.16 and $6 per item. That's really high. Okay, so it's not cheap to actually just place your items there. There's another fee, which I think is a really weird one, which they call low inventory fee. So that means that if you're stocking 1,000 units of something and you drop below a certain number, like 300, they will charge you a penalty because you're not managing the amount of levels that you have of inventory in their store. This is a ridiculous fee because when you do e-commerce, it is very difficult to know how much to sell exactly because it changes with the seasons and with the amount of paid ads that you're doing and how much people are buying and selling. And unfortunately, they're not 100% clear on how much they charge for low inventory fees. So unfortunately, if you get caught by that, it's just a fee that you have to pay Amazon, all right? Because it just kind of sucks, okay? Another fee that you have to keep in mind is when you advertise on Amazon, okay? If you've ever been to Amazon before, right? There's basically listings, right? So if we go to Amazon.com, it's like it's a website where you see a whole list of products, okay? Now, in order for you to list your products here, all right, you have to basically compete with other sellers. Now, there's a limited amount of space. Let's just say I want to look at toys, right? There's a limited amount of space on how many products that they sell, they produce here, right? So obviously, the higher you rank, the more products you're going to sell, generally speaking. Now, Amazon has something called Amazon pay-per-click marketing, right? It's exactly like Google pay-per-click, YouTube pay-per-click, Facebook pay-per-click. The more money you spend, the higher they will put your product on the listings, okay? So that means that you have to spend money on Amazon pay-per-click marketing every single month. That's between $500 and $2,000 a month just on advertising. All right, then you need to learn how to build the business. You can't do this from scratch. You're never going to learn to build an Amazon business by watching YouTube videos. So you have to spend money on a course. All right, the average Amazon FBA course is between $1,000 and $5,000. You have to add that, include that into your price because you have to learn how to do it step by step. Amazon FBA is an extremely complicated business. There are so many moving parts. You're working with Amazon as a huge company. They have a lot of regulations and rules. You're not always going to get approved. So you have to understand how to work with Amazon, which is the beast, okay? So in total cost to run an Amazon business, it's not cheap, right? You've got the product fees that you have to acquire, $1,000 to $5,000. There's Amazon FBA fees, 15% of your product price. There's placement fees, right? Per item, 21 cents to 68 cents or $2.16 to $6 for oversized items per item. All right, so it's a lot of money. Low inventory penalty if you have low inventory. Amazon pay-per-click marketing, and you have to pay for a course to learn how to do it. So overall, minimum to start an Amazon FBA business, you need at least $10,000 to $20,000 to just be okay to run the business. Right? If you have anything less than that, don't start Amazon FBA because you're not going to be able to run it successfully over a period of time. Remember that any business, when you get started, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get going. You're not going to make money from month number one, right? You have to look at this as a long-term game, minimum 6 to 12 months, if not longer, all right? And in order for you to last that long on a monthly basis, you're probably going to need quite a bit. In fact, 10 to 20,000 is actually very is on the lower side, okay? That's conservative. You should be, that's being, just a little bit, giving you a bit of leeway, right? To be conservative, you want to save a little bit more. You have to have a bit more of a budget, okay? Then there are other issues that you have to realize about, selling, especially on Amazon. You have to think about people like Temu. All right, have you ever heard of Temu? Temu is the biggest, currently bigger than AliExpress, right? The biggest Chinese e-commerce company in the world, and they sell products for dirt cheap. Now, this is in my currency, but a lot of the products here, this is like $5. Okay, a lot of the products are really, really cheap, and it is eating into Amazon's profit margins. All right, so it's more difficult. Less people are buying on Amazon because of Temu. Temu is available globally, even though it's a Chinese company. It's very big in the US as well, right? And then the one thing that I forgot to mention is that there is a refund with Amazon products, right? And you have to take that in mind if you want to start an Amazon FBA business. People will refund. Average refund rates are between 10 and 20%. Okay, so you have to expect that you're going to have to refund products, and you have to pay fees for that on top of it, right? So you're losing a little bit of money every time you refund a product from Amazon. So overall, there are a lot of fees. It's an expensive business to start. There is external competition, and it's really eating into the profit and viability of starting an Amazon FBA business. All right, so what do I think of Amazon FBA as a business model? Can you still make money from Amazon FBA this year? I think you can, right? There are people that are doing very, very well with Amazon. You just have to understand that it's not a cheap business to start. It's actually quite an expensive business. If you compare it to other business models like YouTube automation, affiliate marketing, digital agency, drop shipping, it is probably one of the most expensive online style businesses to start, right? It's very competitive because there are a lot of Amazon FBA sellers, and there's a limited amount of real estate on Amazon. I mean, it's basically whatever people can scroll here, right? In different categories. Sure, there are a lot of categories, but sure, there's still a limited amount of space. The costs are very high. The fees are very high. They go up every year. The cost of doing Amazon pay-per-click marketing also goes up every year because of competition. There's external competition from people like Temu, okay? And it's just not a very easy business to run. But that doesn't mean that you can't make money. You can, you just have to be extremely organized, okay? And because of all of these problems, if you look at the different ways that you can make money, right? Because the fees are so high now, it is quite difficult to get into profit with Amazon. So the only way to do well with Amazon FBA selling, especially this year, is to do private labeling. That means you have to learn how to build a brand. You have to learn to build your own products. You have to source them, you have to brand them, and you have to build nice websites, and so that people will go back to your store to purchase certain things from you. If you do things like wholesale, if you do things like retail arbitrage, unfortunately, the margins are so tight because the fees are so high that it's going to be very, very difficult for you to make a profit. It's going to be very easy to be priced out of the market, because with wholesale and retail arbitrage, it's a price war, right? And the margins are so slim that it's going to be so difficult for you to do very well with Amazon FBA. And with all the fees, the product fees, the FBA fees, the placement fees, the low inventory fee, ridiculous. Amazon pay-per-click fees, you got to pay for the course to learn how to do it. And external competition, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to do that. So I think Amazon FBA is an okay business model. It's probably my least favorite out of all of the different online business models, just because it's very, very expensive and it can be quite difficult to work with Amazon, okay? But it doesn't mean that you can't make money. You still can. It's just one of the more difficult online business models to start. But if you would like to go for it, I would say that focus on private label is the one thing. Build your own brand, right? And the second thing is you must have a good budget if you want to start, okay? Minimum, absolute minimum, $10,000 to $20,000, if not more, because you want to give yourself enough buffer to last in the business and do the advertising and get new products and sell and things like that, and obviously test and tweak to figure out what works and what doesn't. Okay, I wish you all the best. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Amazon FBA model. If you're here watching this video right now and you've never seen any of my videos before, on this channel, I review literally hundreds of different ways to make money online. All sorts of different business models, strategies, products, apps, websites. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, out of all of them, and I've spent a lot of my own money testing these models, these websites, these strategies, there was one strategy that I used in 2019 to completely change my life. I used this strategy to quit my full-time job. I 5 times my old corporate income, and I highly recommend this strategy to anyone that's just starting. I think it's great for beginners or anyone that's tried making money online for a long time but has never been able to do it. I've got a free masterclass that goes through this strategy step by step. If you want to check it out for free, just click the link all the way at the bottom. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you on another video review. Take care.